All this couple wanted was to have a baby, but fate had quite extraordinary plans for them. Now that's the beauty of life, no one having an idea about what's coming next. Not to deny, at times, if given a chance, we would definitely love to sneak into what's next there for us. But that's not the case, dear. The secret to happiness lies in dealing with the unexpected first and later on continue planning. Something similar was waiting for Sarah Justice and her husband Andy. We were very happy. Did we panic a little? Of course. Sarah and Andy had been married for 3 years, living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had everything around them working just brilliant. Not as usual as it sounds, they decided to have a baby to complete their family. Since the very moment they thought of it, they'd no idea what they're putting their feet into. Well, not literally, just saying. Besides, you'll agree that everything changes the moment kids make their place in each couple's life. Then what it was that made it surprisingly unique for Andy and Sarah. We'll take you through their extremely incredible story that's full of amazing surprises. Sarah and Andy were trying to conceive for over 3.5 years now, and it started concerning them. Their regular doctor referred them to a specialist. They understood that some sort of help might be needed for them, and hence they decided to consult a fertility expert. Soon, with high hopes, they set off for Missouri, believing that nothing serious is about to happen and it'll be just like another routine checkup. In 2014, the couple traveled to St. Louis, Missouri to seek a fertility specialist's advice. They drove straight for 6 hours hoping for something good. Unfortunately, bad news was waiting for the Justices. After their long journey, Sarah and Andy were expecting positive results. The doctor informed them there's nothing wrong with trying, the chances are only 10% though. Yes, it left the couple upset, but they were looking forward to the next alternative. The Justices weren't ready to give up so soon as they really wanted to have kids. They started looking for other ways, but like most of couples, adoption wasn't their first choice either. Sarah and Andy knew any medical treatment might cost them a lot. How much? They didn't know yet. So they looked for an answer. The answer was about to come, another disappointment for the sweet couple. Wonder how? We took that as a no, Andy says, as the cost of the in vitro fertilization might cost up to $60,000, which the Justices just couldn't afford, especially when they were aware of the possibilities of his working out and less than 10%, and hence one door closed for them and they looked forward. The other option left was adoption, and the couple made themselves happy with this idea too. Though they were aware it might take years before they could actually adopt, as decided they started making a list of the adoption agencies and were preparing themselves for the interviews. Initially, they thought to adopt a newly born, however they were ready to go as per the situation and felt completely ready to welcome a kid in their lives. Sarah and Andy didn't want to miss the opportunity once any mother adopts them. Sarah and Andy didn't want to miss any opportunity once any mother picks them. Sarah and Andy waited to get shortlisted by a birth mother who would love them to raise their baby. They went through different interviews in different cities, and it was a task tougher than they thought it would be. Their desire to have a baby was the only thing that kept them going through the tough times. And why wouldn't it? They were already parents just without a kid. Now the idea that they were just one call away from knowing their baby kept them motivated. The first time they were selected to adopt a baby, both of them started preparing themselves and waiting on the due date. Sadly, the birth mother of the kid changed her mind at the last moment, which left the Justice couple disheartened. They had no clue about how long it might take before someone else selects them, and eventually that would complete their family, as adoption seems was the only light they could see at the end of the tunnel. They called the adoption agency and said they'll continue waiting for it as they were before. Sarah remembers, then they changed their minds. It was very hard to get our hopes up like that and then be disappointed and have to start all over. It was the second time for them and the same thing happened. On one side, they respected the birth mother's decision to keep her baby, and on the other side, they ended up feeling helpless and without a little angel cheering their house up. The second denial, though, was a sudden shock and forced them to believe that maybe no one will ever pick them as their parents and they'll stay childless forever. After facing rejections twice, Sarah and Andy were assuming that it might never work for them. They were close enough to give up on the whole process. The moment they decided to adopt, they knew it will be a long process. What they didn't know was the emotional stress that they've gone through while the process is still not moving any further. They were in the middle of a conflict about continuing and giving up, and as time was passing, they were getting closer to choose the latter. It was one of those days the Justices were close to giving up on the adoption process that they received a call they were close to stopping the wait for. However, 2 such calls they received before left them depressed. The lady who chose them this time as her kids' parents sounded sure, and even invited the couple to join her during this ultrasound appointment within a few days. Both Sarah and Andy were more than sure this time. Sarah accompanied the birth mom during the ultrasound, and there was Sarah looking at the screen, not figuring out her baby but knowing that it's in there. Sarah couldn't believe that she was sitting there next to this lady, inside whom her baby was growing. She was already overwhelmed when the doctor said something strange. She was in shock as neither the birth mom nor Sarah herself knew what the adoption agency will say about it. Andy was as much unaware of anything as you are right now, as Sarah preferred to get this clear from the adoption agency first and later reveal it to her husband. She curiously asked the adoption official, "What does that mean?" The official replied in his usual tone, "Nothing." He further explained that it was completely the couple's decision to make. Sarah thought, "Wow, this is great, it's everything we wanted." So what was it really that she was so excited about? During the ultrasound, the doctor informed Sarah that the lady next to her is about to give birth to triplets. Right, triplets! After the official's confirmation, Sarah knew it's a dream come true as the couple always wished to have more than one kid. But they lost all hopes after going through the rigorous adoption process as they doubted themselves if they can go through it all over again. But the story doesn't end here. For Sarah and Andy, it's just the beginning. The fact was they didn't plan to adopt triplets in the first place. Keeping the fact aside, they chose not to miss the opportunity God blessed them with. Therefore, Sarah and Andy open-heartedly signed papers for adopting the newborn triplets. The couple was the happiest while preparing themselves for the arrival of their triplets. They knew it'll be more than they ever imagined, but they never intended to back off. Kids were all they longed for since their marriage. In May 2013, the triplets were born 2 months before their due date. These low birth weight infants weighed just 3 pounds each and hence were kept under intensive care. The 3 beautiful girls were named as Hannah, Joel, and Elizabeth. Nevertheless, the premature birth wasn't the only surprise, as a bigger one awaited the couple. A week after the triplets were still under the doctor's supervision, before the couple welcomes them home, Sarah made a regular appointment with her doctor as she wanted to be sure of her health before they bring the children home. And there it was, her minor doubt changing into reality. We really felt this was something God wanted us to do, and sometimes when you follow God's will in one thing, it leads to the next thing. Yes, she was pregnant, but that wasn't it. Andy couldn't believe what Sarah had just told him. He laughed. "That'll teach me to keep my mouth shut." So what was it? Sarah called Andy and said, "One is a boy." Her husband asked with confusion, "One?" Sarah was pregnant with twins. "No, really, we were very happy," the couple explains. "Did we panic a little? Of course, but we were very happy." Exceptional but true, the couple was having twins after adopting triplets. What was about to happen soon was hilarious. Sarah was about to take care of her newborn triplets while she was pregnant with twins. A year before, just a couple, and now proud parents of 5 kids. Sarah and Andy definitely had things around them moving fast. When anyone may think twice before having 5 babies, Sarah and Andy never thought about it twice. The couple knew that they didn't have in the past, and now this makes their lives complete. "We wouldn't give up these babies for anything," Sarah tells in an interview. "Besides, maybe it's all connected," Andy adds. Andrew and Abigail totaled the justices to 7. I was shocked and a bit overwhelmed because I got to thinking, added it up, and I'm like, wow, if they go to a term, we're about 5 babies in 8 months. But we were really excited because it was something we've been dreaming of and longing for years. The justices became famous in no time. People wanted to read about their 3 daughters and 2 sons and know how they're managing it. They were popular on Facebook as the happiest couple. Everyone loved their family pictures, which they posted time to time. Well, their strong and steady decisions for sure deserved applause. "I don't know why people think we're so interesting. We're not the only family with multiple sets of multiples," Sarah says. She further explained, "I don't know if we're interesting. We're busy, I can tell you that." The family was ready to grow by heart, but we all faced budget issues, and so did the Justice family. However, everyone they knew, their family, friends, neighbors, and community were more than helping and supportive of the family of 7, which surely made it a bit easy for the couple to get some sleep, occasionally though. Andy tells in an interview, "We don't sleep much, obviously. We don't sit down much either." Everyone's been kind towards the justices as people pitched in to babysit their 5 less than 1-year-old kids while the couple left for work. In the picture here, the kids' grandmother is seen helping them, taking care of them. Andy shows his gratitude. "They've all been donated so far. We've been very blessed." The couple remembered how they needed diapers all the time of the day, and yet they never required to go down to the store and buy them. From a carriage to the bottles, everything was donated by families from all over Oklahoma. Even blankets, baby formula, and clothing. Andy explains, It was more than a little ironic. They got a bigger van so that it could be easy to commute. Tulsa's Eastland Baptist Church members even sent frozen foods to the couple, which really helped. And yes, they faced slight problems with recognizing the triplets. A few months' age difference between the girls and the boys was easy to acknowledge, and so were the boys. They could be easily identified. The only concern was with the triplets, which were quickly solved when they applied different colors of nail paint on each of their nails. Yes, that's true. The couple now have triplet twins and a newly born Caleb in 2016. The family had all their reasons to celebrate, and yet it was another big task for the couple, but don't you think they're getting used to it now? So Caleb was the first non-multiple kid in the family, and while his elder siblings were being toilet trained by Sarah and Andy, he's welcomed too to join the clan. In an interview, Sarah says, "All of the kids absolutely adore their baby Caleb. He has the best fan club ever, and we cannot imagine life without the sweetest, most loved little guy in the world." The Justices are now in a habit of finding humor in everything, and they find it an adventure instead of a challenge. Sarah says, "My husband says all we do is babies. Everything else in life is pretty much stopped, but it was something we've wanted so badly that we love it. It's not to say it's not a lot of work and we're not tired a lot, but it's great. We just really love having these children. We never lack playmates and work to promote love and care between the siblings. Our children will always have a friend and will never need to feel lonely."